You're so immature, Lena. Can't you see the functional beauty of this magnificent design?
Exactly.
Hello everyone, I'm Johnny, and today we're taking a look at Slayers, a classic anime from the 1990s. It's fun, entertaining, hilarious, a must-watch. I'm going to introduce Slayers by starting out with an OVA, which is the Slayers Special, aka the Book of Spells, and we'll start with episode 1. It's a good place to start because it's a prequel. So let's take a look. Slayers centers around Lena Inverse, a very powerful sorceress adventurer who enjoys using her powers, good food, and treasure. Lena can be extremely confident. She often enjoys being targeted by lesser magic users and villains, and rarely thinks twice about battering them with her magic. Lena is frequently targeted by villains because physically she seems rather meek, but one of her favorite things to do is essentially reverse ambush or mug any baddies foolish enough to try it on with her. Lena also rarely has an issue if any townsfolk or allies get caught up in her magic casting. Luckily, she seems able to scale her magic to rarely actually kill anyone, though she has been known to level buildings or even towns with relative ease. Lena can also be very insecure because of her childlike appearance, which remains a sore spot for her throughout the story, but is a great plot device attracting both villains and good guys to her rescue. Contrasting Lena's personal and certainly physical characteristics is her companion and rival Naga, featured in this OVA. It should be fairly obvious that Naga is physically quite different to Lena, but she is also quite cocky and, unlike Lena, oversells her magical ability, which is typically, but not always, inferior to Lena's. Naga has a most excellent introduction in this prequel.
Bondage Queen of Darkness has awoken.
Yes, and I'm fit to be tied with you. Huh?
Slayers is an interesting mix of dark and light humor. This episode starts off with the introduction of the antagonist, an alchemist who wants to create a chimera, combining Lena's powers with a dragon, sea serpent, and a lesser demon. Lena at first thinks he just wants to duplicate her powers, but then learns the alchemist actually wants to essentially kill her and add her head to the beast's body. Dark stuff. On learning this, you expect Lena to be in a world of danger, but then you immediately learn that Lena is not fazed by very much, and as I stated before, always underestimated. She puts the alchemist immediately in his place, and he will later on in the episode have to rethink how he is going to capture Lena. Later in the episode, the alchemist decides to attempt to capture Lena using the darkest of dark magic by creating homunculi. In alchemist lore, as in the episode, a homunculus is the creation of a human, sometimes a clone, involving parts of a host and other biological material, which could be plants and/or other animals. A disturbing and perverse concept, and one that this time catches Lena Inverse off guard. The homunculi all appear as Naga with her distinguished laugh. The best part about this is I don't think the laugh actually has any magic power, but rather it's just supposed to be so overbearing that it causes people to panic, or in Lena's case, pass out. Naga's laugh is a big part of her character, and a running gag. One of my favorite aspects of this running gag in this episode is a nearby town which has been hearing the laugh in the distance, believes it to be some sort of magic curse or force plaguing them. They of course later will realize to their amazement, it's just the wild laugh of a woman. There is a lot of this sort of meta-comedy or self-referential humor in the show. Lena, for example, loves to interrupt monologuing with a good magic spell. The best meta joke in this episode, which is one of the best in the whole Slayers universe, is when the alchemist is confronted about the cost of maintaining and feeding his Naga clones. He subsequently confesses to how embarrassing and expensive it was to attempt to match and purchase 10 pervy leather sorceress outfits. People don't normally think about these logistical difficulties when choosing the career path of a dark alchemist. Lastly, the funniest twist at the end of the episode is when the alchemist confronts Naga with his squad of Naga clones. To the alchemist's surprise, the clones seem to be infused with Naga's power of self-love and immediately join forces with Naga, completely ruining his plans. This is essentially the brilliance of Slayers. Villains can be defeated by a climatic battle, or by totally hilarious and unexpected means, making episodes hard to predict. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching. Do check out Slayers if you're into action, adventure, and comedy. It definitely has a lot to offer. I did watch it in English, and the voice acting was a little bit rough, so you might want to consider watching it in Japanese with subtitles. Anyway, for me and the cat, do take care, and have a nice rest of your day.